What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Terror Table for episode 123. I am Mitch, one of your hosts here every single week, and alongside me, as always,
Buzi.
We got Buzi, and we got no Diego today. We normally have three hosts. Diego's not here this week. He'll be back next week. Last week was our book club episode, which was a lot of fun, and we appreciate all the feedback we've gotten from that. Seems like people are enjoying book club so far, so that's a lot of fun. We'll be doing that again in about a month. But today, we are going to be talking about Shudder's new exclusive film, BOAR, which is
from 2017.
Yeah, 2017, but it was like just added to Shudder recently. Like, I think they gave it new life of some sort. I hadn't seen it before, so I got to open up my Shudder account and use that to watch BOAR. But yeah, we'll get to all that. We're going to do our normal thing where we're going to talk about what we've been seeing and what we've been up to. Then we'll talk about some news. And then we will finish off with our main feature on BOAR. So with all that, I'm just going to say right out the gate that next week we are going to be covering the new Child's Play reimagining, whatever.
I feel like you'd have more spunk in your voice, like talking. You seem, that was very like droll. Child's Play.
Well, yeah, like, I don't know. I'm actually more excited about it than I think most people. And that's, like, I'm not that excited.
Yeah, you were kind of lukewarm on that.
Yeah, like, and what's bad is that I'm, like, one of the people who's, like, actually more, like, I really want to go Thursday night, but we can't go, so we're going to go, like, Saturday. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to go on with my arms crossed. I'm hoping to be entertained. But yeah. I love the Child's Play movies. I really wanted us to do a retrospective on the Child's Play franchise. Maybe, and we'll talk afterwards. Maybe if you have time, you can watch some of them, and we'll talk about them. I don't know. We'll figure that out next week.
I haven't watched the last three, but also that doesn't matter with the storyline of this one.
No, so. But I was thinking, like, we at least rewatch the original, like, 2. I like 1 and 2 a lot. I like that whole franchise, to be honest. But, okay, so yeah, we'll be doing that next week. We're just going to be talking about Child's Play. And another announcement is that Buzi was on the Story of You podcast with Sean Broom, and it was uploaded today. And I listened to it right after work.
Oh.
I sat in the dark and listened to you. I'm like, this is really weird because I'm listening to an hour of Buzi and then I'm going to listen to him for another hour and a half while we do this.
I'm sorry you had to do that.
No,
That's a terrible back-to-back.
It was awesome. It was awesome, and I highly recommend all of our listeners to go and check it out. Once again, that is the Story of You podcast, just the letter U, with host Sean Broom. He's a Regina podcaster, and it was awesome. I really enjoyed listening to it.
Yeah.
And you're a natural, and it's funny because I was like, there's a lot of things I don't know about Buzi that I'm learning on here. But yeah, obviously if you listen to us,
have you finished it?
Yeah,
I actually said some nice stuff about you.
Well, then I love our podcast. And like that was cool that you touched on that, and that meant a lot to me to hear you talk about that. It actually means something to you and everything. So that was cool. So with all of that dick sucking out of the way,
I'll just sit back up here.
Do you want to talk about what we've been up to? I've seen a lot, so I'm just gonna because this is 2.5 weeks worth of stuff.
I guess because last week. Yeah, okay.
But I'll let you go first, and then I'll just hog the air for a while.
Okay. First thing, not horror. I'm just gonna throw it out really fast. Detective Pikachu, awesome movie. I highly recommend that to people who, like my age, people who are our age, I guess, people who grew up with original Pokemon. There's so much there for you. Yeah,
I want to see it. Tara really liked it too.
Yeah.
I've heard, like, for the most part, people are like, oh, it's fine. But like I saw you went as far as posting a picture about it on Instagram.
I loved it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
I wanted to throw that out quickly just because that is awesome, and if anyone's on the fence about it, I think it was it last week?
Yeah, it was last week.
Last week I went to the Broadway Theater because they were doing a screening of Alien in 4K, and for the 40th anniversary or whatever.
Ridley Scott's Alien.
And yeah, so that's my first time seeing it on the big screen, number one, but it was also the first time I've ever seen anything in 4K, and it completely, like, it redoes the movie almost for you.
Yeah.
Like, it looked like a new movie.
Just like watching a new movie again.
Yeah, like everything
something you've seen
great.
A million times.
Yeah, and that's the thing I kind of said after is I've seen Aliens so many times, And this was probably my favorite time.
Really?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it felt perfect, and it was cool being in an audience with people, and like people are laughing at the small jokes that like Parker's making in the movie, which I'm not used to people laughing about his jokes in there because it's usually just me watching it.
Yeah. Well, you're probably among a bunch of fans.
Yeah, it was great. It was
Yeah,
it was fairly sold for the most part. There was 2 showings. We were the earlier showing, so I think the heavier crowd was the evening one because I didn't realize that the 6 o'clock show didn't sell alcohol.
Oh,
it was an all ages one.
So did you go to the 6 o'clock one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So and then we were in line for concession, and I went up to the concession stand, and they had this really beautiful poster for it.
Oh,
that has like, it was all blue or all black and green, and like there's a silhouette of an egg or whatever. So I went up to the front and I was like, "Hey, what's the chances of me like copping that poster?" And the guy kind of like looks around and he kind of like gives me a wink or whatever. He's like, "Pretty damn good. Come see me after the movie." So yeah, I went out to the lobby after and it was just fucking packed, and I ran over to him and I'm like, "Can I get that poster?" And he's like, "For sure." So I got the crisp one. I didn't have to go rip one off the street.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's such a nice poster. Yeah. And then the other thing I watched, because of something we're going to be talking about in news, I had to show my roommate Black Christmas.
Oh yeah, how did that go?
It's weird showing something you love to somebody else because you're like putting it in their hands and you're like,
it's like letting someone hold your baby.
Yeah, it's like take care of this thing. Yeah. And yeah, Tyler loved it and I had such a great time. I really enjoyed watching that movie.
It's so fucking good.
It's one of those Christmas movies where you don't have to watch it on Christmas to get like,
no, it's essential viewing
results
for me on Christmas, but I totally understand why you would choose to watch it in June.
Yeah.
Because, so yeah, we'll get into that in news because fuck me.
So that's all I have for things I've watched. I'm in 2 books right now.
You're reading 2 books?
I'm reading 2 books.
That's
Yesterday,
awesome.
I stayed home after work and I read for like 2 hours.
I did that too.
So yeah, I'm like, it's so exciting too because you can go between your books. So maybe if one book something not interesting is happening, you can flip over to the other one and maybe something is. So you get something there and then you bounce back to the other story.
Yeah. No, that's totally. I'm listening to the audiobook of The Shining right now. Okay. So I'm doing that like.
How many hours is that?
19, I think, or something like that.
Okay.
I think so. But then I found out Courtney, like my book next month is The Ruins by Scott Smith.
Yeah.
And I was planning on ordering it on Amazon, but Courtney has a copy. I had no fucking idea that book was so big. Like I was like, well, damn it.
Is this one of those? What have I got myself into?
It's 100% one of those. But luckily, I'm loving it.
Okay.
So like, little sneak peek into next month's episode. But like, I'm glued to it right now. I was reading it when you got here. Like, I'm really into it, and so I think I'm gonna have no problem crushing it. Like, it's like a 550, 600 page book. But like, when it's something that I'm like obligated to finish it on a time crunch, I'm like, okay, I'm going to need to buckle down and get this done.
Yeah, and I remember you saying last episode how there's like the one book you'd read, you did it as an audiobook.
Yeah.
And you said it added a lot to, sorry, I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, it was The Exorcist. And I understand that, but there's also something that's great about just letting your mind wander with reading.
It's way better just
audiobooks
reading.
can't.
Yeah, honestly, man, like I've had to rewind The Shining so many times because the guy reading is so fucking boring. And I'm just like, I just want to like stop this and just finish reading it when I'm done reading The Ruins. And I might actually do that. But it's just because I've read The Shining before. So I like, audiobooks are weird for me. It needs to be something that I'm familiar with. Otherwise I just get bored and like zone out or something. I love just sitting and reading a book in the quiet. But yeah, okay, well, I'm going to talk about all the things I've seen, and I have seen a lot. First thing, not horror, but I'm going to mention it because it is one of the most horrifying things I've seen in a while. The When They See Us Netflix 4-part series. It's, once again, called When They See Us. I think it's like one of the most viewed things on Netflix right now, so people know about it, but I just want to give my stamp of approval. Do you know what it is?
I was going to say, do you know what the most viewed thing ever is on Netflix now?
What?
It's that Adam Sandler movie that just came out.
Murder Mystery?
Yeah.
Really?
For some reason, like
I haven't watched it. My mom loved it.
So I'm just thinking when you're saying, like, what's one of the most viewed things? And I'm like, it's not as good as Murder or whatever.
Holy fuck. So, like, it just, like, broke records with people. That's crazy.
Yeah, but it's trash.
Well, you haven't seen it.
You know, it's Adam Sandler.
Yeah,
Sorry. Anyway,
I'm probably going to end up watching it at some point. But no, When They See Us is a 4-part series on, it's centered around the Central Park 5. You know, are you familiar with that story? So there were 5 kids in New York that were convicted and sent to prison for raping and beating a woman in Central Park in the 90s. And it was actually 1989.
I think I do remember.
Yeah, it's like one of the most famous like wrongful conviction stories, like kind of like the West Memphis 3 case. And
so that was the one I was thinking of the whole time.
Like I'm very like the West Memphis 3 case is like a really big part of my life. Like I've spent a lot of time with that case, like just being obsessed with it and everything. So this is right up my alley. But like this show, man, it's beautifully shot, incredibly acted. It's potentially the most heart-wrenching series I've ever seen. Like it hurt to watch it. It was like borderline masochistic. Like it was just like it's so sad and so depressing. But Courtney and I thoroughly loved it, and I highly recommend people check it out.
Can you give me some backstory on this? I have no idea what this is. Is it a reenactment or a documentary?
No, it's not a documentary because it's starring like one episode as Joshua Jackson, Charlie Conway, Vera Farmiga's in it, John Leguizamo, Logan Marshall Green shows up, but he's only in one episode. Like each, because it goes through like the first episode is about the crime and then them getting taken into custody and like seeing how the police treated them and how they were interrogated. And then the second episode is them in prison and like what the beginning of that looks like and how basically so many people hated them. And like, can you imagine being put in jail for a crime like that you didn't commit, and everyone thinks you're just a monster and you're not.
So it's not like
they're innocent kids.
It's not like taken in plain sight or something.
Abducted
like that.
No, it's not. Definitely, it's not documentary. It's completely drama, but it's just really, really well done and very heart wrenching. But I really enjoyed it enough to. I know it's not a horror show, but I wanted to mention it on here because I feel like people who like horror movies tend to be into true crime and that kind of stuff.
I feel like true crime can kind of fit on the fringe there.
And then speaking of another one that I don't technically know if it's horror, but you've talked about multiple times, I'm just gonna give my.
I'd say it's horror.
Yeah, it's Chernobyl. So I finished Chernobyl. Watched Chernobyl. Listened to the entire Chernobyl podcast. There's if
right,
for some
I still
reason,
gotta get on that.
Yeah, if you are watching the show, I highly recommend watching it and listening to the podcast like afterwards. They have the writer Craig Mazin. He's on the episodes, basically talking. He goes through each episode. There's 5 episodes, and just talks about the actual events and like how they dealt with things when adapting it to screen. And yeah, so this is one of those cases, one of the very rare instances where I kind of agree with how the absurdly positive reviews of the show. Like people are getting a little horny with it, like being like, "This is the best piece of television ever," and like, yeah, it's pretty fucking good. Like it is awesome. I highly recommend.
I get where you're coming from, where you don't want to say it's the greatest thing ever, but it can kind of hang out in that ballpark, and you wouldn't get offended. Yeah,
no, it's pretty hard to dispute like the quality of the show. And I don't know, I was having a very like I wasn't looking for them, but I didn't see any glaring flaws in it at all. It's just 5 tight hours, and the acting was really well.
And that's probably why you don't see faults in it or don't look for it, because it's so tight.
I'm so happy that's not like a 10-episode season or something like that. Like just the 5 episodes is perfect. It went through every single element that would be interesting to learn about, and it was awesome. But one thing I will say is I was happy to be warned about the animal violence in it, because I feel like by knowing, and obviously I knew that kind of shit happened because it's Chernobyl. It's a real like.
But you can't physically see it. I guess.
Yeah, but I liked being able to prepare myself a little bit. I went in expecting the worst, and I ended up coming out okay. Like obviously it's still fucking heartbreaking, but it's not as bad as what my mind was going towards. Like I was expecting the absolute worst, and it's pretty brutal. Like you'll probably shed a tear, but no, that show is fucking fantastic.
If you cried in Marley and Me, you probably won't enjoy that episode.
Absolutely not, no. But yeah, so once again, that's another vote for Chernobyl as being fucking amazing. Watch that if you are sleeping on it for some reason. Next thing that I watched is the new Netflix movie, The Perfection. Have you heard about this?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so this is, it's called The Perfection. It's starring Allison Williams, who plays the girlfriend in Get Out. She's the... I don't want to...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And then so Allison Williams and Logan Browning is the other girl, and she is one of the most stunning human beings I've ever laid my eyes on. Like,
aside from Courtney, right?
Yeah, well, obviously that goes without saying, but like, Jesus,
I'm just covering your tracks.
Yeah, thank you. No, but like, good God, this girl is just like unbelievably attractive. But aside from their attractiveness, this movie is just fucking ridiculous and gross and so entertaining. I think it's one that a lot of people are hating on, and then a lot of people are really loving it. I've heard people comparing it to, it's kind of like an American film, but it feels like it has Korean sensibilities, and I think that's the only thing that would have made me enjoy it more, is if it actually was a Korean movie, because it gets so bonkers, and you'll know what I mean when you watch it, especially near the end. But it's about these two cello players. They're like they were a part of this prestigious schooling program, and they're like incredible at the cello and violin, and
they're the Wunderkinds or whatever.
Yeah, and it's basically they befriend each other, and I don't want to spoil it. Like all you gotta know is it gets wild. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm just gonna say, like, it's kind of like a 1-up situation, and I don't even know what I would compare it to, but it's
John Wick 3. This is my John Wick theory, where everything can turn into John Wick.
Yeah, kind of, actually. Like, I can't believe it, but kind of, yeah. It's fucking crazy, but I don't know. It's really silly and super over the top, really gross, and entertaining. It's one of the better Netflix movies I've seen in a while, so I feel comfortable in recommending that to listeners if you haven't pulled the trigger.
A legit horror movie?
Yeah, it's a 100% horror movie. Yeah. So yeah, check that out. The next one that I watched is Captive State.
Why do I know this?
Because we saw a trailer for it. I think they played a trailer. It was in theaters, but it was one of those movies that kind of came out and just like died. Which is kind of
like it was in Rainbow 2 weeks later.
Yeah, like I think just no one. I don't know if it was that the marketing just wasn't there, or people just genuinely were not interested in seeing this. I think for me, I wasn't rushing to see it in the theater because I wasn't entirely sold on the trailer. And
well, it's weird that name isn't like I've heard of this, but I can't picture anything.
Yeah. So it's directed by Rupert Wyatt, who directed Rise of the Planet of the Apes, the first of the Apes remakes movies. And it's starring John Goodman, Vera Farmiga, Ashton Sanders, Jonathan Majors, James Ranson, Alan Ruck, and Machine Gun Kelly. So
why is Machine Gun Kelly getting roles?
I'm getting so fucking tired of it. Like, I can't stand that guy.
But you can tell that Vera Farmiga's like, wait, which TV is she on a TV show?
She was on Bates Motel.
Oh, she's on Bates Motel.
She's one of those people too that I've always liked, but I'm like getting tired of her. Like, she's in fucking everything.
She started popping up in more stuff. Not just that you said 2 things, but
she's in 3 things that I'm talking about today.
Okay.
Like, but yeah, so she plays a prostitute in Captive State, which I'm like, I never got the vibe. I guess she's like a high class prostitute, like
like a call girl.
Yeah, well, she's like an escort. Sex worker. I forgot that. Yeah, so sex worker. She's like an escort, I think, but she doesn't leave her apartment. I don't know. It's weird, but yeah. So this is a alien invasion movie, and it deals with stuff like class struggles, the political climate, and breach of privacy. It's one of those movies that's like kind of hammering on like, yes, this is a shitty situation, but like we're not too far off from it right now in the real world.
Dystopian future.
Yeah. But it's received mixed to mediocre reviews, and I probably wouldn't have ever checked it out if it weren't for our friend David Hopkins from Erie International talking about it. He went and saw it in the theater, and I believe he liked it enough, so I was like, oh, I'll actually check that out when I can rent it or whatever. So yeah, it's set in like the dystopian future where aliens are taking over, and it focuses on a group of, I'm just going to call them rebels. Like, they're kind of like a terrorist organization, but I think it's more suiting to call them rebels, because they are people who are trying to ignite a war with the aliens so that they can take back control of their planet, while at the same time the government and like all these other special forces units are essentially trying to keep the peace and with the aliens and stopping these rebels or terrorists. So it's kind of the humans fighting with the humans while there's aliens floating around.
So are these aliens good?
I like them, but I can already tell that you're not probably going to be very.
No, I
crazy.
mean they're in.
Oh no, they're bad.
Okay.
Yeah, they will annihilate you, but they're taking control of the planet, so they have like kind of a deal. I think with that's one of the things that's kind of
shady government.
Yeah, it's shady government. Like John Goodman is like one of the leaders of it, and it's. I don't know. He's actually pretty good.
Like they got the ACAB tattoo on them.
Yeah, pretty much. And I don't know. The movie was really well paced, and overall, I thought it was actually a decently entertaining movie. I was pleasantly surprised by it. With that being said, I went in with almost no expectations, but it's one that I'd recommend checking out if you're into like District 9 or War of the Worlds or stuff like that. But
just on a lesser scale.
Yeah, like don't expect anything mind blowing, but it's. Like the aliens aren't really the star of the movie, and I'm getting tired of that whole thing too about it's the people who are evil and the people who you got to worry about. But this was handled decently well, and I saw some things I haven't necessarily seen before. So I thought it was overall. I didn't check my watch at all. I was entertained. So once again,
you didn't think about tech decks?
No tech decks during this one. What movie was that?
Bye Bye Man.
Oh yeah, Bye Bye Man. I was thinking about tech decks.
You left for a while too.
I went for a smoke break. Okay, yeah, carrying on. Oh god, I've seen. Yeah, I got two more things. Sorry. Finally went and saw
one of them has Vera Farmiga, right?
Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Right. So I went and saw that in the theater. I couldn't go the opening weekend because Courtney was in Vegas, and I promised I'd wait for her. And I was very, very excited for this movie. So this one's directed by Michael Dougherty of Trick or Treat and Krampus fame. That's one of the reasons why I was actually really looking forward to it. And it's starring Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things, Kyle Chandler from fucking Friday Night Lights, Vera Farmiga from Everything, and Tywin Lannister is in this movie.
Oh.
Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. This movie, without a doubt, it's an improvement on the 2014 movie. The Gareth Edwards one. I fucking hated that movie.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm getting out of that is it was better than that, but whatever.
Yeah, it was better than that, but like I'd say it was about 5 times better than that, but only a little bit better than the '98 Godzilla. I don't know. That movie is at least entertaining because it's just stupid.
It's a special place in my heart.
Yeah, I don't know. It's bad, but yeah, I don't know. I think unfortunately, giant kaiju monster movies, I've been spoiled with. I know you weren't crazy about it, but I love Kong Skull Island.
Or
to me.
Pacific Rim.
Yeah, Pacific Rim, exactly. Kong and Pacific Rim, they both have like a little bit of playfulness to them, where they're like they know how over the top they are. And I think a lot of people, I read a lot of reviews saying like that King of the Monsters is fucking crazy and like it's so like silly and stuff like that. I'm like, it didn't really feel like that though. I felt like they're still treating it so seriously. It very much feels like it's in the same universe as Gareth Edwards, obviously, because it is. But I don't know. It was missing like the thing. And Andy mentioned this on Erie International as well. But like Kong also looked beautiful. Like it was really colorful. And
yes, it had a great palette.
Exactly, and like so it was interesting to watch because of that. And then also like the other monsters were so kooky, and like the people. Yes, there's a lot of like human shit in Kong as well, but the people are so silly and over the top that it's entertaining, and you don't need to take them overly seriously. So that's what I like so much about. Like that's what I want from my monster movies. There's still a whole lot of the whole. Fucking sitting in a room and being like, what are we gonna do? Godzilla's attacking. And like they're
the
pretending
war room meeting.
Well, pretending, yeah, the war room meeting, and they're planning on like he's our ally and he can save us from all these other monsters, and it's just like, okay, like let's start taking this a little less seriously if that's the route we're gonna go. And I don't know, like the human stuff was pretty painful. That being said, like I like this movie more than Courtney did. Like she fucking really didn't like it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but like there are the monster stuff. Like let's talk about the monster stuff. Monster stuff is cool. Like there's some really awesome imagery with Godzilla, especially like where it's kind of like it kind of like reminiscent of the Meg. Like there's one scene where they're kind of underwater.
Okay.
And, I really like that, and like Rodan was awesome. I thought. King Ghidorah was neat, and Mothra was kind of cute. But like I don't know, I was left cold. I just I didn't overly enjoy myself, and I'm like,
They blue balled you a little bit.
yeah, well, I don't know, because the thing is, they delivered on everything they said they were going to, like from the trailers. But I guess I think I don't know if I'm outgrowing movies like this, or I have a specific taste for what I like from my monster movies, and I know a lot of people are enjoying it, and that's awesome. I'm happy for people who are liking it. Like, it's definitely better than 2014, but I wouldn't say it's better than Shin Godzilla. Shin Godzilla still, like, I really like that.
I think that one's probably the best one that's come out in quite a while.
It is, yeah, for sure. And, like, I know a lot of people are wrong about that movie, and they didn't like it, but that's a real good one. I was like, just make this movie more like Jurassic World. Like, the first one, like, where it's, like, it's kind of stupid, but it's entertaining.
Yeah.
I don't know, I was getting kind of bored during Godzilla, to be honest.
Going back to something you had said, though, about kind of being over that kaiju thing, I don't think people realize that kaiju movies have been coming out pretty consistently for the last little while. And I would say kind of the point where it seemed like it jumped the shark a little bit would be Colossal, if you remember that movie.
Yeah, like the romantic comedy.
Yeah, that's when you kind of knew that kaiju movies had been in like the pop culture for a little too long. When they have an Anne Hathaway.
Yeah, I love that movie though.
No, I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It's when you think about it in the context of a kaiju movie, everyone wants like the Godzillas and stuff, and then here's our kooky Colossal movie.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, like
I own it.
Yeah, because that was a Nacho Vigilando movie, and like that's
what I mean.
I get it, like because
I'm not disputing with you whether it's good or not, because I do like that movie.
Yeah.
It's just more that felt like when kaiju movies had been here around too long, where we're getting those kind of movies, the funny comedy tie-in version of something. Yeah. And that's not taking anything away from that movie. It's just that's when you tell you kind of jumped the shark on that.
Yeah, I don't know if we have been getting some like a decent amount of kaiju movies over the last couple of years, but there's been very few that have really landed for me, like the ones I can think of.
I think it's because they all kind of follow that same plot line.
Yeah, like I like the Meg more than King of Monsters.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of disappointing. But I did like the Meg. But I don't know. There's some decent stuff in it. I'm sure if you're interested in seeing Godzilla, you've seen it and everything. But yeah, it was okay. Shout out to our boys at Let's Talk About Stuff. They did a whole episode on Godzilla, like a bunch of different Godzilla movies and TV,
nice.
like the TV show, the soundtracks, and they talk about an insane comic book. Did you know about there was a comic book of Godzilla versus Charles Barkley?
What?
Yeah, in the 90s. They talk about it on the episode, and I was losing my shit because it's all about like Charles Barkley like grows to monster size, and he like has to play basketball against Godzilla.
I was gonna say he has to do like the switch up, and Godzilla goes for it and then falls backwards, and that's how he beats him.
It's
just
like
stunned on him.
It's like the '98 Godzilla look though, and he's playing basketball against him. So I really want to get a hold of that comic book.
The more you think about it, looking back, is man, the '90s just anything flew. If you could throw two ideas at the wall, you had it made.
Like Godzilla versus Charles Barkley. What the fuck? But yeah, no, I don't know. That episode, the Let's Talk About Stuff's episode on Godzilla I liked that more than the last two Godzilla movies. So I recommend checking those guys out. They're a lot of fun. Last thing I'm going to talk about is Courtney and I have started NOS4A2, the TV series that's out now. Do you know about this at all?
I think I'd kind of heard about that. Did I touch on it in news maybe? I haven't watched it myself. So.
Yeah, because it's based on the novel by Joe Hill, who's the author of Horns, the Lock and Key series, Strange Weather, Heart-Shaped Box. He's done a lot of The Fireman, lots of really great books. But this is an AMC show, so everything's getting an app now. So AMC has an app
or a streaming service.
One of those. Something like that. And like if you subscribe to AMC, you can on an app or something like that, you can get access to the entire series. So that's what we've done because we're just going to binge it. Otherwise, it's just coming out every week like a normal TV show on regular television. I believe 3 episodes have aired now, but I think we're on episode 4 because
I kind of like that idea. That's an interesting choice.
I like it too. But so this is once again set on the Joe Hill storyline. So I don't know. Here's the thing. I'm a big fan of Joe Hill's work, and every time I've read one of his books, I'm like, how would they ever adapt this to screen? Because his ideas are so outlandish and original and cool, and I love most of his stuff. And Lock and Key especially is one of my favorites. Specifically the Head Games graphic novel. they're currently, they've been trying to adapt that to TV for so long, and I don't know how they're gonna do it. And Nosferatu is kind of in the similar boat, but it's centered around it's set in a universe where there's a child abducting vampire who is straight out of an well, yeah, he's straight out of an evil twisted children's fable. But what are you laughing so hard about?
Why does he only go for kids?
Well, I don't know yet because I haven't read the book, but he's played by Zachary Quinto. Do you know who that is?
Alternate title for it is Pedophile Dracula.
Okay, really? Pedophile, yeah, okay.
What time's school done?
Yeah. Well, he drives a Rolls Royce and like picks up kids in the back, and he's talking about taking them to Christmas Land. That's his whole thing, is he takes them to Christmas Land. I haven't figured out fully like what his deal is, because I think I think he kind of feeds off the kids, but like just their energy.
Okay.
And he'll turn younger, and then they start like growing teeth and get all weird looking and everything.
See, I just imagine the vampire from What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
The extremely old one.
The one who goes out wearing a fucking New Jersey Devils hat.
Yeah.
Oh man, Doug Jones.
Do you guys want to drink beer and smoke cigarettes at my place?
Yeah, let me try one. Like, he wants to try the pizza. Fuck, it's so good.
Pass me your jewel.
Yeah. But yeah, like the thing is, the show it's got a very serious tone, and yes, it is funny in theory, but it works on screen.
Mocking it.
Yeah, no, it works on screen. I'm enjoying it so far, but yeah. So there's the vampire, and then there's the telepathic gypsy girl who strictly shops at Hot Topic, so she's kind of like an edgy gypsy girl that has powers. And then there's a girl who has the power to transport anywhere she wants to via an old bridge that was demolished in near her hometown. So it's like she sees this bridge that was demolished a long time ago, and she can drive over it, and it'll take her pretty much wherever she wants to go, but no one else can see the bridge.
So if she has no one else in the vehicle, she can't go over said bridge?
But she's always on a bike. She's always doing a motorbike thing.
Oh.
Because she's also kind of edgy.
Oh, okay.
She's punk rock. But yeah, I don't know. I'm one of the people who I hated the movie Horns. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I hated
zero interest.
Really? Because I hated it when I first saw it, because I read the book, and I really enjoyed the book. But it was one of those things where I'm like, it just can't fit on screen. Like, it's so strange that I don't know how they pull it off, and I didn't think that they did. But it's one of those ones I've kind of grown to like over time. Like, I kind of compare it to the Death Note Netflix movie that everybody hates, where I'm like, I realize that it's sloppy and ridiculous, but the mood is what does it for me. There's just something about it that I like.
So you're one of those people who still champions it.
Yeah, like I own Horns, and every time I watch it, I like it a little bit more than the first time. So, but yeah, I don't know. So far, Nosferatu is convincing me that there is ways around these limitations, because I'm really enjoying it so far, and I'm looking forward to watching more, because it's so different. It's very strange. I can't really compare it to anything. So.
Oh, so it's like a big flip on the vampire storyline.
Yeah, like that. Well, there's so many different elements to it that I frankly don't know enough about yet to talk about. Like, they're really feeding you a little amounts of possible throughout the episodes. But I'd say keep an eye out for it. I think Lana watched it all and she loved it. I know Jesse Sawitsky, Jambi, read the book, and he's been. Man, the dude was blowing his load over that book for so long.
I am still surprised he can read.
I know.
It's
crazy.
Every time you mention it, just blows my mind. Another week, another news segment. All right, let's get cracking on this.
Yeah, there's a lot of news.
There's a lot. I'm sure I missed stuff, so if there's something at the end you want to throw in. There's another Amityville horror movie coming out.
Okay, I missed this.
Yeah.
But it's like not like a legit one.
Yeah, it's part of it.
But like,
is
it going to theaters?
I probably not. Like, the last however many have just been VOD.
Yeah.
This one's called Amityville 1974. So this focuses on the actual murders.
That's what everyone has wanted forever.
Yeah, and they do they're gonna have kind of that creepy element that was kind of encased in that. Who did that remake? Who was in that? Wasn't Ryan Reynolds?
Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah, you know how he was getting like taunted by the house and stuff? Yeah. I think they're going to go a little bit into that, but it's going to be with the actual family from the first one.
Yeah, the DeFeos.
Yeah, the DeFeos, which is going to be weird because you can't keep showing the DeFeo family. Like, they've been trudged through so much.
Well, no, they always... Am I mixing this up? Because who's the one who actually committed the crime? Isn't it Ronnie DeFeo? Because he was on acid.
Yeah. He was real fucked up.
That's what I want to see.
And I think they might touch something on that, but they're going to keep that spooky spirit kind of thing going because
the Lutzes are the ones who are like Ryan Reynolds plays George Lutz.
Yeah,
and that's okay. So I would like them to focus on the DeFeos, but also I'm probably not going to watch this movie.
I think I remember watching the last one because it was such a long-running joke.
The Awakening one.
Yeah.
We'll talk to Justin Bruce about it. We'll have him back on.
Yeah.
If I watch that movie, it will be to have Jibs on the show again.
Up next, we had our first trailer for an up-and-coming film that kind of came out of nowhere. It's called Ready or Not.
Yeah, we were gushing about this last night.
Yep. And it's directed by Radio Silence is who's directing it, and it's
that makes sense then.
It's 4 different people who encompass Radio Silence, and they did a segment.
They did VHS,
in VHS, and also the ending sequence in Southbound.
Yeah.
They directed.
Yeah, they got some good shit.
And the main character is Samara Weaving.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
She's from The Babysitter. She was in The Babysitter, and she was in Joe Lynch's Mayhem.
Yeah,
so Adam Brody's in this movie.
I would definitely suggest going to check out the trailer. I threw it on as a whim, like, I wonder what this is going to be, thinking it was going to be kind of like Truth or Dare or something like that, and it looks incredible.
It looks fucking awesome. But it is one of those trailers that shows you, like, multiple kills, so be warned about that. But I think that's not really what matters in this movie. Is the movie's going to be a kill count movie?
It straight out told you the plot already. Yeah. It gave you a whole bunch of funny, so there's actual good humor in it. It's not fart jokes.
No, it very much looks like You're Next.
Yeah.
But like probably more into leaning way more into comedy.
So
I think it looks
that
awesome.
Just shot up my list of things I'm excited for now, because there was kind of a lull period where I haven't been excited for that many things, and it feels like the last 2 weeks with everything that's being announced, I'm more and more excited for things.
For sure. This one I'm really looking forward to now.
Up next, Warner Media, which is going to be the new streaming service, is going to have a Gremlins animated TV series. It's currently in the works.
Fuck, man. I've barely been on my phone, I guess. I didn't even hear about this. That's awesome. I'll watch that.
There's so much stuff going on with Gremlins lately, it seems. Mm-hmm. I wonder if they're going to be rolling out a bunch of stuff for Christmas, which would be really cool.
Yeah.
And then we have, I can't remember if I talked about it before, but Stephen King's The Long Walk is getting adapted to the big screen.
I don't think we've talked about it, but I've heard multiple people say that is their favorite Stephen King story.
Yeah, and what interested me more is who directed it. Is Andre Overdahl.
Oh, yeah.
He did Troll Hunter, Autopsy of Jane Doe, and the upcoming Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Yeah, he is awesome. I'll watch anything that guy does. But
so I'm I don't even know what the story of The Long Walk is.
Yeah, I think, well, it's actually, it was a Bachman book. It was like under Richard Bachman.
Oh, yes.
But the book that Kent Blue, shout out, Roll to Play, he sent Courtney it's a Bachman books. It's just got a bunch of his stories in it, and The Long Walk is in there. So
okay.
I'm going to give that a read.
The next one, I'm sure someone's going to know a lot more about this than me, but it looked really interesting, is Sci-Fi is bringing out the Banana Splits movie.
Yeah, like it's a hard R Banana Splits movie.
Yeah, and the original was a Hanna-Barbera program. So I didn't know about this, but seeing these characters and stuff and realizing that this is basically Five Nights at Freddy's before Five Nights at Freddy's the movie comes out, it looks awesome.
I haven't watched the trailer or anything. I saw one picture and I'm just like, well, they're really going for it.
I'm really sold on this. It seems like such a kooky idea, and just judging off of what I'm hearing about what the source material is,
that's
it just
the
makes
source material.
Yeah, it makes it way more insane to think about. And I'm down for it.
Yeah, I'm game. Like,
next thing we have is the thing we want to talk about the most probably this whole time. We're getting a Black Christmas remake.
Yeah,
December 13th.
Out of completely out of nowhere. Like I thought initially when I saw it pop up on Instagram, I was like, oh, someone's making those fake posters again. Mm-hmm. But it was posted by Ryan Turek, who's one of the producers at Blumhouse, and he's a producer on the new Halloween sequel. And he's on the Shockwaves podcast, so I was like, oh, this is legit. And then, just like wildfire, it came out. Imogen Poots is starring in it. I love her. She's awesome.
And the director is Sophia Takal, who starred in VHS and is director of Always Shine. Yeah,
which is one of those, what the fuck are they called? I still don't watch any of them. Something Dark, Into the Dark. It's like a Hulu series that Blumhouse put out. I haven't seen anything that she's done. And that's why, I don't know, like, for me...
That's
like,
the scary part for me.
Yeah, but you know what? It can't get much worse than Black Xmas. And, like,
agree.
I'm one of the defenders of that movie in a weird way. Like, I like it because it's so bad. But Black Christmas is, without a doubt, my favorite slasher movie and one of my favorite horror movies ever. And I think it's one of those rare cases, like, I talk to a lot of people who are like, are you pissed about this? I'm like, yeah, like, they could make a million Black Christmases and I wouldn't care because it wouldn't, like, it doesn't matter if it sucks. I'm always going to have that original, and that's one that can never be tainted.
No.
Like, there's nothing that can happen for my love to ever, go out for that movie. So I'm cautiously optimistic.
I am very excited. You can set my excitement level to a very high for this.
So you're like the Squidward with the eyes open.
Yeah. It's not double eyes closed.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's so much to be interested about because I'm assuming Blumhouse is doing it, and I'm really happy with what they did with Halloween. Yeah. So I feel like they can't put out the worst thing possible. I feel like they're somewhat in good hands. The only thing I'm very curious about is having a newer director. That's the part that makes me...
Well, it's what kind of makes it a complete coin toss. You have no idea what to expect. But at the same time, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, but I mean, you're going to be compared to Bob Clark's original the whole time. So if they're going for that dark tone that Black Xmas really lost, if they're going for that really dark tone that the first movie had, I'm so on board for that.
Yeah, I have no idea what to expect. So I'm looking for... This is going to be one of those times where I am going to watch the trailer for sure, like the moment it drops.
And unfortunately, we don't have any idea when that's going to drop. They haven't said so far.
No, December.
December 13th when the movie comes
the movie,
out.
Yeah, the movie. Yeah, it's pretty crazy that we got like a release date and no trailer. Or
no rumblings. I didn't hear anything about this before.
Cool poster, though.
Yeah, very
cool. Simple. Candy cane with blood.
Next up, Mike Flanagan's Dr. Sleep. We got our first trailer for that.
Yeah, it looks... I think it looks awesome.
It does look awesome. Yeah. I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, that's what made me be like, hey, I'm going to reread The Shining, and Courtney's reading Dr. Sleep right now. And which is cool because I know she's going to talk about this in book club, but apparently Stephen King mentions Charlie Manx, who is the vampire in NOS4A2. So like it's in the same, like Joe Hill stuff is in the same universe because he's Stephen King's son.
Interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, but I'm gonna read Dr. Sleep after this too. But I don't know. I think that's another one where I'm just like I just think it's cool that we're getting a sequel to The Shining.
And it does feel like it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, absolute worst case scenario. I just don't watch it more than once.
Yeah, and I think this really peaks at the point, maybe not peaks, but we're at the pinnacle of the Stephen King rebirth.
Oh, 100%.
I feel like it really put that on the map that, Stephen King books are coming back and stories and this, we're getting all these film adaptations. I feel like Dr. Sleep is a big pinnacle point for this, so we're going to see where it goes. If there's kind of a trend where maybe it starts going down even after it too, we might lose a little bit. But it feels like right now it's hot. It's a very hot property.
Oh, yeah. And I don't know, The Shining is... that's one of those ones where I'm curious. I'm like, are they going to... Because Dr. Sleep is a sequel to The Shining. Are they going to be doing a sequel to the book, or is this a sequel to Kubrick's version? Mm-hmm. Like, because that's one of those ones where it's like I have no idea how they're going to handle it. But judging from the trailer, I liked all the callbacks to the original. I loved seeing Ewan McGregor poke his head through the part where the door that Jack Torrance busted through.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I really like Ewan McGregor. There's a lot of talent behind this movie. Jacob Tremblay from Room and The Predator, and Jocelyn Donahue, who's the main girl in House of the Devil. She's in this movie. She plays a pretty big role. Bruce Greenwood from Gerald's Game. I don't know, man. I'm really looking forward to this. I think for horror, this is my number one this year.
Yeah, this
like
is big.
I'm just like I fucking love The Shining, and I love Ewan McGregor, and I love Mike Flanagan, even though we're mortal enemies.
You shirt-wearing bastard.
Yeah, you fucking mashed potato eating motherfucker.
Let's go tweet at him. Shirt wearer.
Yeah. Take off your shirt.
Next up, you can get your Ghostbusters 1 and 2 Steelbook in 4K Ultra HD with extended footage and some scenes that probably haven't been seen in a very long time. So if you're a huge fan of Ghostbusters, I think that would be a great thing to purchase. I'm personally not going to purchase that myself, but...
Yeah, I'll probably buy it when the price goes down. So I'm like one of the 10 people on Earth who loves Ghostbusters too. Like no one likes that movie and I like it. It's like Back to the Future 3 for me. Like I like Back to the Future 3.
There's a weird nicheness to it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's fine.
We got our first trailer for 3 from Hell.
Yeah, I didn't I turned it off.
I didn't watch. I know a lot of people are interested, and maybe I should do a better job at talking about the things that I'm talking about, or seeing the things that we're talking about. But I couldn't bring myself to watch it.
From what I got, because I was watching it at work, and I was just like, oh, I'll watch it later, and I just haven't gone back to check it out because from what I saw, it's just images from the other movies that I don't even really like. So I don't know. It's not made for me, but don't really give a fuck.
I guess if honestly sometimes we don't get a lot of emails in between episodes. If someone wants to tell me that I'm wrong and that 3 from Hell looks good, I would love to hear your opinion, and I will discuss it on our next episode.
Yeah, well, I know a lot of people are looking forward to it, so I think Dwight is a big Rob Zombie fan.
Yeah. Dwight, tell us what you think. Next up, at the E3 conference this year, we got our first news that Alien Isolation is coming to Nintendo Switch.
So it's coming. I brought it back.
You brought it back.
Yeah.
They heard Mitch's rumblings.
Exactly.
And they're like, would Mitch buy this if he had a Switch in 3 years?
Yeah, it'll be... I'll probably buy it in about 5 years. I don't know. That'd be a cool game to play on the Switch, though.
They're really getting a lot of life out of that game.
Yeah, well, it's a great game. I'm still not finished it, but I'm really liking it.
Next up...
Do you have the other game?
What other game?
Blair Witch Project.
Yo, shit, yeah, I do, later.
Yeah, oh, sorry.
I guess I'll go to that then. Yeah, we have our new, out of nowhere, Blair Witch first-person game.
Yeah, so it says that it's being released on Xbox One and PC, so I'm curious if this is like a Microsoft thing, and I haven't delved deep enough to find out if it's ever going to come to PS4, but I think it looks fucking awesome.
It does.
It looks really good, and I would hands down buy it if it came out on PS4 or something that I have, but... I might have to buy a cheap Xbox because it looks awesome. I love the Blair Witch Project.
It does look awesome. The one thing I'm a little concerned about is, first off, there's a dog that accompanies you most of the game. So I'm worried about him first and foremost, or her. And second thing I'm worried about is that what kind of traction they're going to get out of the source material in terms of scares. Because a lot of games where you follow that kind of storyline, it turns more into going through a haunted house as opposed to playing an in-depth game. Do you know what I mean? You're going to go from segment to segment, and this thing's either chasing you or something's going to pop out, but your character's never really in danger.
No, it seems like something that could potentially get boring after a while, but I don't know. I'm very curious about it, because it's also one of those things that it'd be cool to... start out in the town and investigating people and stuff like that. It'd be a good interactive first-person game. But from what I saw, there's lots of jump stuff. There's gonna be things jumping in front of you. Probably gonna see lots of scary twigs.
Yeah, see, and that's another thing where you're talking. Yeah, spooky twigs is if you're playing that game, how much value you can get out of constantly wandering around in the dark and then oh god, there's some twigs over there. It's how much traction do the scares. I hope that they crafted a perfect game. I'm just a little bit worried about that.
Yeah. I'm cautious.
Next up, we have... I don't think you checked this out. Me and Diego had watched it. There's a second season of Love, Death, and Robots. It's been renewed. So that'll be interesting to check out season 2. Me and Diego both really enjoyed season 1. I'd actually recommend checking it out.
I think most people adore it. And I watched a couple of it, and I can admit that it's awesome. It's just not really my thing.
No, and that's totally fair. And that's the thing where you don't have to consecutively sit down and watch this. You don't have to watch it week to week. You don't have to watch a specific episode. You can, because it's just small animated or sometimes real films. So you can just, pick and choose randomly.
I've heard some people say that it's the best thing to come to TV ever.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, I don't know. There's lots of people who are really horny for that show.
Up next, Escape Room 2 will be coming out April 17th, 2020. Adam Robitaille will be back to direct this one as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked that movie.
I think we're going to be pretty excited for it. It comes out August 14th, 2020, not April.
Yeah, we'll watch it.
I'm kind of excited. I'm happy that this guy got another chance at this.
For some reason, I'm looking it up on IMDb right now, and it right underneath it was Escape Plan.
Okay. Escape
Plan, that's starring Sylvester Stallone, David Bautista, 50 Cent.
Oh.
I was like, oh, that's going to be weird. But no, it's a sequel to Escape Plan, the other Stallone movie. Sorry.
That's okay. Filming is kicked off this week for Conjuring 3. For everyone who's waiting for that one. You're going to have to wait a little bit longer. It'll come out sometime in 2020. They haven't set an exact date, but that's the year it's coming out.
I'm curious about that because it's going to be directed by the guy who did Curse of La Llorona. La Llorona. I figured it out.
La Hernia.
La Hernia. The Curse of La Hernia.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah. I'm always down.
I remember talking about that there's possibly a werewolf segment in there, so I'm pretty excited for that. And the last one was, we really liked it.
Yeah,
all of us really liked that movie. DC has already canceled Swamp Thing.
That sucks, because I still haven't seen it, but I've heard nothing but good things. Yeah.
It's not as fun. And everyone I've talked to said it's a great show.
Yeah.
And I don't know the specific story because I've heard a couple different things, but it sounds like they fucked with their budget too much.
Apparently it was really expensive.
Yeah, they might have overspent, and they decided that we're not going to go in for season 2, which is unfortunate, especially when your show hasn't entirely been out yet. Not all the episodes are out.
Yeah, the first episode came out, and then they canceled
it. That really sucks because you're losing so much of your audience already who are going, I'm not even going to bother getting invested.
Yeah.
So that's really unfortunate for that. You always want to see good things happen in horror, and unfortunately that one didn't work out. The next one, Fariza, I think I'm saying her name right. Fariza Balk from The Craft is going to be starring in a home invasion film called Trespassers. And it's directed by Orson Oblowitz.
There is so many Trespassers. Okay. Is there a trailer or anything?
Yeah, there's a trailer out right now, and it'll be in limited theaters and VOD July 12th.
Okay.
So you got a little bit of time to come that comes out, and it looks great. It looks like a fun home invasion movie. So I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
That's all I have. If you have anything else to add.
That's everything. I'm just along for the ride today, I think.
Okay.
All right. Well, we will be right back with our main feature, which is going to be BOAR. The BOAR. It's a hard one to just...
BOAR.
Yeah, BOAR.
Okay.
Be right back.
Okay, cabin fever is officially set in. I suggest the next town we come to, we pull over and get some grub.
Good idea.
Sounds great.
Someone's been tearing the fences down there at the old Addison's farm there.
He's down a few sheep too. Something's killed them, yeah.
Well, what, all 9 of them?
There's nothing out there except dust and ruse.
That's a load of shit, Ernie, and you know it. You remember that smash up on the highway coming into town, right? About 12 months ago? They couldn't find the couple. All the police found was the wrecked car. I was driving back from Bob's place in me truck, and I saw something in the paddock, about 300 or 400 metres off, and I hit the spotty on it. It was a boar.
And welcome to our main feature presentation, where we will be discussing BOAR, which is now, it was originally released in 2017, but was recently given a new life on Shudder this year. It was written and directed by Australian genre director Chris Sun, who also has directed films like Charlie's Farm. Is apparently a real famous one. Like people, well, I wouldn't say famous, but people like that movie. I haven't seen it yet.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of it until this.
Is it a horror movie?
Yeah, it's a horror movie, and it's starring Tara Reid. And
okay.
but Bill Moseley's also in that, and Nathan Jones is also in that. He plays the main Charlie, the killer. And it's like a slasher movie kind of thing.
Okay, this is very fitting, yep.
Yeah, Nathan Jones and Kane Hodder is also in it. So Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th, Part 7, Part 8, and 9. And 10. X. Sorry. So this movie is also starring Nathan Jones, famous power lifter and WWE star. He was also in Mad Max Fury Road. Bill Moseley of Texas Chainsaw 2, House of 1000 Corpses, and The Devil's Rejects, and The Three from Hell is as well in this movie. Hugh Sheridan, who luckily for us hasn't been in many films because he sucks. That dude is terrible. I'll get to that. He's so bad. John Jarrett, who plays Mick Taylor in Wolf Creek, and Mick Taylor, who's in Wolf Creek, and a personal Mitch and Buzi favorite, Rogue.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's in that movie as well. Oh, another Australian monster movie, Nature Run Amok. But yeah, it has been making me physically ill, stumbling over the reviews that count on using the "this boar is a bore" pun. So I'm going to try and avoid that as much as possible, because Jesus Christ, man, Letterboxd, IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, everyone's like, yeah, this film's boring. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
See, I can't even like muster a response to that.
No, God, it's awful. But yeah, in my educated hypothesis, I'd say that Australia has become fairly well known for putting out some pretty great horror films. We've had movies like The Babadook, Wolf Creek, The Loved Ones, Killing Ground, Rogue, The Tunnel, Lake Mungo. Australia is also the capital of places where animals can kill you, because there's shit like everything can kill you there. We've had movies like Rogue and The Reef, Blackwater, Bait, and coincidentally another killer boar movie, Razorback. Have you seen Razorback?
I am watching it this week.
Okay, because
it's from 1984.
It's apparently awesome.
Yeah,
I've never seen it.
I watched the trailer for it the other night because I was looking at this movie and I saw that and I was like, "Holy shit! I need to watch this."
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people have been like, "This is just a Razorback ripoff," but like, let's be honest here, it's just a fucking giant monster movie, like a creature movie.
You're gonna trample on each other when it comes to giant things attacking.
Exactly. It's like anytime there's a shark movie, it's like, oh, it's a Jaws ripoff.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get into this movie. So, should we do general thoughts and then just kind of get into it? What did you think of it?
I loved it so much.
Really?
I loved it so much.
Oh, crazy. Okay,
I had such a good time watching this movie.
Yeah, well, that's good.
I'm assuming you did not.
For me, it's one of those ones where I'm like, this, hopefully it's not boring up. I'm glad that you're passionate about it, because for me, it's kind of just like, it's fine. Like, it wasn't terrible, and it wasn't, like, I definitely wouldn't even say I liked it that much. Like,
I kind of figured you probably didn't like it that much.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like the boar looks fucking awesome. Like, that's the thing I do like about it. And I'm pretty forgiving of the CGI boar, because there's like it does look awful at times, but the coolest part about it is that this movie's mostly practical.
Yeah,
and I think the practical work looks awesome. Yeah, you know what? Like, I'm thinking about it, and like there's some awesome kills, like really wicked kills. Particularly, I think it's when Bill, like, spoilers, like, this boar kills people, pretty much everyone in the movie.
Yeah, most of your cast gets.
Yeah, but it's a movie where they're gonna, all these people are just fodder. But I like the idea of the, like, I don't know, like,
you're at a loss for words.
Yeah, well, the Bill Moseley, when he runs up and the boar grabs him, and he, like, as he's trampling away, like, every time his hooves hit the ground, like, blood splurting.
Yeah.
And I was like, I like that kind of stuff. And like, there's like a wicked tent attack scene in it. I had a good giggle when the boar tooth swang through the back of that chick's head and through her mouth.
Yeah.
And then he's mauling her like a rag doll, and then she's still alive. Like, my problem, like, and I hate to say it, but I think I agree with Jeff in this. Like, I'm going to share what Jeff thought of it.
Jeff watched this.
Yeah,
I can only imagine how much he hated it.
Well, yeah, and he commented on our Facebook page, but actually, I'll just say what he said here. He said, personally, I like the idea, but thought it was a bit of a misfire. I'm not sure how they didn't see taking a more over-the-top and fun tone wasn't a must, but for a movie about a wild boar massacring a bunch of people, it takes itself pretty seriously. That said, I didn't hate it, and I was pretty wasted when I saw it, so maybe I expected time travel or something.
Okay.
But I think I pretty much agree with him there, like, on everything. I'm like, it wasn't silly enough for me. I would have liked it to be a little bit more goofy. Like, yes, the kills were goofy, and it was crazy, and it's a gigantic boar, but it really shines in the violence, and that's about it. Like, and I know that I'm that idiot who's being like, the human stuff isn't very good, but for me, it's like that guy I mentioned, that fucking actor, he plays the girl's boyfriend, and he like goes up to Bill Moseley. That whole scene of him like being like how he wants to propose to his girlfriend.
Yeah.
To me, that whole scene, it felt like build up for a porno. Like,
He did. Now that you mention it, he did feel like he came out of a porno movie.
Yeah.
Their whole like dichotomy with that family was really awkward to watch.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I also had some of my like most fun watching that stuff too.
Okay. Yeah, I don't. Did you watch by yourself?
Yep.
I guess you smoke a lot of weed though.
Oh yeah, I was good for that one.
Okay, so that might have been the key here. I watched it by myself on a Sunday afternoon. But yeah, overall, I don't know. Like, I'll let you talk about it a little bit.
Okay, I have two things I want to broach before I get into my full review. These are two quotes I took from the movie as it was happening, and it was kind of me like strapping in to know I was going to have a good time. These are two quotes. Here's the first one. I don't know about you guys, but I'm hungry enough to eat the crotch out of a low-flying duck.
Yes, what the fuck? Who said that again? Wasn't that Bill Moseley?
It was the dad.
Yeah, Bill Moseley.
And then the other one is, look at the ass on that one. Looks like two possums fighting in a plastic bag. Now, at the start, I thought I was going to hate this movie.
I thought you were going to hate it too.
I thought I was going to hate it so much. And then as it went, there's a very weird Australian tone charm to this.
Yeah.
And I know people are going to be like, well, it's an Australian movie and most of them are Australian. Of course it is. But there's there's a really interesting dynamic between the two old guys when they're both walking over to the campsite and their conversations they're having while they're pissed drunk. And Nathan Jones's character, how he's this badass, but he reminds you of like a simpleton. He's kind of like the big dude. He's Lenny from Of Mice and Men.
Yeah, that's exactly. I pet the bunny's too hard.
That's all that stuff. But it was so fun. I got so much enjoyment out of it. I understand people being critical because it does have serious tones. But if you think about it, this movie has so much fun with being ridiculous that yes, it has kind of a serious undertone of a story, but it's the characters within there that are having so much fun.
Yeah.
You can it feels like everyone was enjoying themselves making this.
It does look like it would have been fun to film, but like you just said though, the tone really is fucking all over the place because like they take it pretty seriously for the most part, and then randomly Nathan Jones is riding it wearing a cowboy hat singing Ice Ice Baby, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
That was the thing, is a lot of times that would throw me off in a movie, but this it felt like it added so much more. I was like, yes, of course they're doing something like this, or how like the whole family's hanging out and the couple's making out and then he's throwing around the kid or whatever, doing like wrestling moves. I liked this so much. I had so much fun watching it. I can't stress that enough.
Well, I'm happy to hear that, man.
And it's so great seeing the practical effects pay off in that way, because I remember watching Harbinger Down, which is a super serious movie, and they were touting about their practical effects. Well, yes, sometimes it did look good. A lot of the times it seemed like they were just showing it for the state of showing it, and that's part of practical effects, is don't show everything.
No, they did a really good job with what they showed, and even like I mentioned, like the CGI is very noticeable, but it's like totally forgivable because of the amount of actual practical effects.
If the whole movie was CGI, I would hate it a lot
and
more.
And it's bloody. It's bloody, and
they went all out on gore.
That's Australians, man. Like they make some of the goriest, fucking awesome horror movies. I love Australian horror movies, so that's one thing that got me pretty excited about. But I didn't feel like I know, like I shouldn't be attacking the script because it's like this movie's not about the script.
You can say whatever you want. My
but
feelings will not be hurt.
No, and I think just people in general, like they'll be like, "Oh, Mitch is being a little too critical of this killer BOAR movie." But for me, it's just like, that stuff takes up a large portion of this movie. Like there's where it really gets, like where it takes off is when the BOAR is just massacring people, and like that's the parts that I liked, and I was laughing pretty hard through a lot of those attack scenes because they are brutal.
The one thing I'll say is this is a very long movie. I didn't realize it felt kind of like it was broken up into two movies at some point, but they did such a smart job of, they didn't show the whole BOAR for quite a while, and when you're starting to watch it, you kind of wonder like, oh no, do they not have the budget for this?
Yeah.
And then you realize that they saved all of this for these big extravagant like blood fests, and having this large animatronic for a while, and then they do patch everything else with that CGI, which are the weaker points of the film. But they did such a clever job of when they finally rolled out the whole thing and you're seeing all of it, you're like, oh, this is great. This is what this is what I wanted.
Exactly. So 2 things. It's actually a short movie, but I think it feels long. It's an hour and a half.
Long.
It does. It feels long.
I think it's because it feels like it's broken into 2 sections. The first part of the movie is kind of that family, and then it switches to the older guy and his buddy, and then it switches back, and then it becomes kind of an amalgamation of all of them, even though some of them are dead at that point.
Yeah, it feels like just at one point they're like, okay, let the carnage fucking rack up now. And like that's what I liked about it. And specifically, like, I don't know what it is about, but like Ash vs. Evil Dead does this a lot too, where there's a lot of practical, but then a whole bunch of CGI blood. I don't know what it is, and I know it might be sacrilegious, but I don't necessarily hate CGI blood. Like when that boar was getting shot at the end, I thought it looked awesome. Like it was taking chunks out of him. Like with that being said, the ending is fucking so stupid.
I
but
love
awesome.
the ending. I love that they set up for another one.
Well, yeah, I like how the 3 of them are driving away, and then it's just like he'd just been mowed down with bullets, and they just get like the ending is him just getting up and following them. Well, it's like, how would they not hear? It's like a T-Rex behind them. Like,
also, randomly, a couple people are like, "Hey, I actually survived. I'm not dead."
Yeah,
and they're like, "Okay, we forgot get in the car."
Yeah, what are we gonna do with this person? They've just been hanging out by the fucking food the whole time.
Yeah,
like on set.
Like, one of my favorite scenes is it kind of throws out, and it completely throws out what a conventional movie would do in certain scenes. The one thing I'm thinking of is when the boyfriend pushes the dad, the boar kills him. The dad, and then is chasing the other guy, and they're going like, "What's he yelling about?" And he's screaming like, "Run!" And every conventional thing, you're gonna go, okay, he's gonna get killed at a certain point, but maybe he'll get some exposition in first.
Yeah,
is the usual thing is there's a giant boar, blah blah blah, blah, and they go, "We don't believe you," and then the boar attacks.
Yeah,
this one just comes and
runs
wrecks him.
Yeah.
it completely switches around all these tropes you think are gonna happen.
Yeah.
I even loved the boss fight where it's Nathan Jones fighting the boar.
Oh man, I can't believe I almost forgot about that.
Great.
He's fist fighting that giant fucking boar, and then using a knife, and it's just like, this is your time to shine, Nathan Jones. Like he gets to just shank a boar for a while.
It was a real blast from the past seeing him. Like, I know I did see him in a couple other things leading up to it, but like I used to watch wrestling when he came out.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with him. Like, I mainly know him from Mad Max.
Yeah,
so
he had a very short wrestling career. He was actually supposed to help The Undertaker at WrestleMania and had this huge storyline.
Yeah.
And they had him like set up as this big monster who got out of jail in Australia. And then what they found out is that he didn't want to do the heavy touring schedule, and he was also pretty green as far as wrestling goes. So they sent him back to their development, and he only stayed for like 6 months, and then was just like, I'm done with wrestling, went back to Australia, became an actor and everything else he was done.
Yeah.
So it's weird. It's like, I remember him as that wrestler back then, and he was huge back then, but seeing him now, he's huge, and I'm surprised at I know a lot of people are going to think I'm stupid for this. I think he was fairly competent as an actor. He did exactly what he was supposed to do in that script.
Yeah.
You can't fault him for, like, why is his character all of a sudden singing Ice, Ice Ice Baby? But he did everything so well. It felt like each thing he did as a character could have been in a different movie, as like, this is the funny movie, this is the serious movie, this is the over the top.
He was really good in Mad Max.
He was,
like,
but
he didn't have much to do.
Yeah. He just had to be menacing.
Yeah, and he had to deliver a couple of lines and like look big and dumb, and he's good at looking big and dumb.
Yeah, but I feel like this whole movie, he does such a good job of kind of being like a Forrest Gump character, and he does it in such a good way. I really liked it.
Yeah, no, he
has some comedy timing, I guess.
Yeah, he's enjoyable to watch. I definitely didn't hate him. I'm not familiar with his like wrestling stuff at all. I mainly know like he was a power lifter.
Yeah, I think he's a bodybuilder. I don't. Whatever.
He's a big friggin' boy though.
He is huge.
He's a unit. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to say else about this movie. I think if you have Shudder, it's worth a watch.
I can understand why they have that as their big rollout right now, because I can see a lot of people having fun with it. I wanted to watch this movie again 2 days after I watched it.
That's wild.
I had such a good time watching it. I'm not saying it's the greatest movie ever made, but it was so much fun, and I think a lot of people are going to get enjoyment out of it. I'm not meaning that at all in a condescending way, but I'm legitimately happy that you got that, because for me it just kind of didn't really raise my pulse much. But like, I'm happy to know that it's
people are liking
but
it.
like when I think about it now, is I put it in that same category that like Urban Legend is in, or Valentine. It felt like those kind of movies where they did have a serious thing going on, but it was also kind of glossed over by almost that like MTV generation thing.
Yeah.
This movie felt like it could have been released alongside those, just with how the characters worked and everything, and the violence. I don't know. It just gave me those vibes, the Jamie Blanks vibes.
Yeah, I don't know, if you're just like a fan of the giant animal B movie, like that's what this movie's screaming at you.
Yeah,
it's just a big B movie. It's the flick with some redeemable elements and some killer practical effects. But I'm going to read off what Darcy said, because Darcy commented on our Instagram post.
Okay.
At 3000 Movies Cast. 3000 Movies Cast, you can follow them. That's the 3000 Movies to Die Before You Watch podcast. I've also been listening to them quite a bit, and I'm enjoying that. They are funny people. I love Darcy, and Jen is really a natural on the mic. But so shout out to them. And also, apparently, some of our listeners have been heading over to their podcast and like interacting with them. So that's
awesome.
Really good to hear.
They're
That's
leaving
awesome.
us behind finally.
Yes.
They've outgrown
Fuck
us.
off. All right, but I believe it's Darcy saying this, but he says, this movie was excellent in the worst possible way. B-list horror at its absolute finest, with a host of people who seem to care about the project and a good creature. I had a great time watching this masterpiece.
Me and Darcy feel like we're on the exact same page.
Yeah,
for
it
this.
sounds pretty much identical to what you're thinking. But
I guess the other thing I could say for it is, it would probably fit along those movies like Sharknado, but I don't want to say that.
It's way better than that.
It's way better than Sharknado, but it's that B plotline kind of movie.
This is like a good version of that.
Yeah, like if you these are the best of the best of the B movie kind of real stuff like that.
Yeah, for the types of movies that we're getting nowadays, like it's not every day that we get a movie like I think Rogue is awesome, and I know we're like I can't wait for Crawl and like stuff like that. But like for as far as like straight to DVD or straight to Shudder kind of things, like you could do a lot worse than BOAR.
You could definitely do a lot worse than BOAR.
So check that out, and I guess we'll wrap it up for the day. Sure. And we will be back next week, in which we'll be talking about Child's Play, the 2019 remake starring Mark Hamill. Like, that's what I'm most excited about, is that Mark Hamill.
And who's the mom? Like
Aubrey Plaza.
Aubrey Plaza, yeah.
Total babe. But cool.
It's weird that she's reached MILF stage now.
Yeah, she's a mom, like in the movie.
The movie centers her as in the MILF stage.
Okay, real quick, let's see how old, because I'm pretty sure Aubrey Plaza's like my age, so I want to figure this out here. Nope, she's definitely older. She's 1984, so...
Really?
Yeah, so she's 6 years older than me.
I did not... Wow, that's surprising, actually.
Yeah, so I guess she could technically have like a 9 or 10-year-old son. Oh.
We're gonna try and figure out the logistics of is she a MILF?
Yeah. Well, she's definitely a MILF in this movie because she's mama, but I don't know. Fuck it. Let's see what this movie brings to us. So we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Make sure that you go and subscribe to The Story of You and listen to Buzi's episode.
And 3000 Movies to Die Before You Watch. Go check that out. Check out Erie International.
Yes.
How many other friends do we have? Who else?
Roll to Play.
Roll to Play.
Let's Talk About Stuff.
Yep.
Like, there's so goddamn many. And they're all great.
We love all of you.
Okay, well, I'll see you guys next week on The Terror Table.